It's been a few weeks since I started my experiment trying natural alternatives to store-bought rooting aids with a few ZZ leaves, and I've noticed changes in the leaves, so I'll be sharing the results so far in a moment. And I've also got the winner of the giveaway that we started a few weeks ago that I'll be sharing later in the video too. And I've also decided to do a runner-up winner with some similar prizes, so I'll share their name later too. Just in case you didn't watch the first part of the experiment, I will do a quick recap of what we did. I'll link the video at the end if you do want to catch up though. So I tried different alternatives to rooting aid powders that you can buy in the stores, natural alternatives that you might already have around your home, so you can give it a try yourself if you wish to. And I picked the different things based on them either having plant hormones or being antimicrobial, or possibly both. So the alternatives I tried were Manuka honey for the antimicrobial properties. You can also use raw honey if you were trying the experiment yourself. Cinnamon for its antimicrobial properties. Aloe vera because the gel contains antimicrobial properties and plant hormones. Coconut water because the solution contains plant hormones. And willow water, so pieces of willow bark or stem steeped in water, and that also contains plant hormones and antimicrobial properties. So they were the 5 alternatives. I then also did a control without using any rooting aids, as well as using a store-bought rooting aid to compare all of the alternatives against that. So I decided to use ZZ plants for the experiment as I could get the most leaves from those plants. So I had 7 leaves off of 7 ZZ plants, and that allowed me to have 1 leaf from each of the plants in each of the different rooting variables. So 1 for each of the natural alternatives, 1 for the control, and 1 for the rooting aid from the shop from each of the 7 plants, and that was just to account for any differences in the different plants as well. So I planted them all up in these clear pots around the outside so that I could see if roots were forming over time. I've labelled each of the pots with whichever rooting aid alternative was being used, or the store-bought or none at all, such as this one, the control. And I've also labelled around the outside the numbers of the plants that they came from so that I know exactly which plant it came from, just to account for that plant difference that I mentioned earlier. So this one is the control, so this one had no rooting aid alternative or rooting aid powder from store-bought on the leaves at all. This was just leaves straight into the soil for the propagation. So looking at the leaves, they are all very healthy looking still, green and standing mostly upright. Where they're not upright, it's probably just because they've come loose in the soil a little bit, but the leaves are still generally healthy. I can't see any roots around the outside as of yet, but these are very slow growers and slow to propagate, so it could take some time for any roots, if they are forming, to reach the outside of the pot where I can see them. So the next one is the Willow Water, and this one, in my opinion, should have been the next best alternative to a store-bought rooting aid, as this one has a high concentration of plant hormones as well as being antimicrobial. So looking at the leaves so far, there is one that I do actually need to remove. If I just show you, you've got 6 healthy green leaves, which is great. They're all still standing upright and looking good, but you might be able to see there is one leaf just there that's looks like it's gone rotten, it's gone a bit discoloured and it's fallen down. So what I'll do with that one is just remove that, and then I can take that out of the experiment. There's no there's no roots on the bottom of the leaf that I can see, and it does look like the bottom of that has gone a little bit mouldy. So hopefully that doesn't affect the rest of the other leaves in the pot in the experiment, as they were separated. But so far I will leave those other ones and they should be fine. So that was from plant 4. And the next one is the Aloe Gel. So this one is probably the closest to the Willow Water in that it had plant hormones and antimicrobial properties. So this one generally looks okay. All of the leaves are green. There is one that looks like it's curling or rolling over a little bit. However, it's still quite firm in the soil and it's still green. So that could just be some sort of natural shape distortion as opposed to anything wrong with it, but I'll keep an eye on it. So there are the aloe leaves, still all green and still all in place. So far so good for these ones. And the next one, coconut water. So this one's similar to the others in that it has plant hormones in the solution. However, it isn't antimicrobial that I'm aware of. So this is where we've taken the water from a fresh coconut, put the propagations in there for a few hours before planting them up. And looking at this unfortunately so far has the most failed leaves. So if I just show you what they look like so far, you can see we've got a few green leaves on there, but we have got 2 failed leaves. So one has just completely given up, like the one that we saw at the beginning with the Willow Water, and another one has discoloured here as well and fallen down. So I'm going to take those out. I'm not seeing any mould as such, I'm just seeing the leaf is just black and looks like it's just decided to start to go a bit rotten. So they're obviously unsuccessful propagations, but I've still got 5 leaves in there to see if they succeed. And unlike the failed leaf from the Willow Water, which was plant 4, they were from plant 1 and 3. So these next two that I've got are antimicrobial as opposed to having plant hormones, and the benefit of them being antimicrobial is they should protect the propagations long enough for them to start to develop roots and become more established. So the first one that I've got is cinnamon. So this was just a case of dipping the propagations in cinnamon powder, a bit like you do with rooting hormone powder anyway, and then planting them up. And this one looks just like the control. All of the leaves are nice and green and they're all upright still, no discoloration, no roots that I can see so far on the outside either. As I said, that might take time anyway, so 100% so far for the cinnamon. And the next antimicrobial one is honey. So I specifically used Manuka honey because this is certified to still have all the goodness in it, natural goodness, and have its antimicrobial properties, as well as being able to use raw honey, as I mentioned, because that's unprocessed. It still has lots of those natural beneficial properties, including being antimicrobial. And looking at the leaves, I can see there's actually one failed leaf in there, so 6 leaves are good, nice and green still and upright, but there's one at the front that has failed and started to discolour at the bottom and fold over. So with this one, this is from plant 1, and if you remember me mentioning the coconut water as well, one of those in this pot was from plant 1 too. So far we've lost 2 leaves from plant 1. So is that because of the rooting aid not working, or is that because the plant was maybe not its best? We'll find out as we start to lose leaves throughout the rest of the experiment, see how many come from which different plant. And lastly, the shop bought rooting powder, which is, as I'm sure you're aware, the white powder that you get that you can just dip the propagations in before planting them up. You can also get it in a gel form where you just dip it in the gel and then pop the propagations up. So looking at this looks really good so far too. So all of the leaves are green and upright, so 100% for the shop bought rooting powder. And I can't see any roots from the side of the pot yet either, but as I said, that can take time and it's still early days, it's only been a few weeks. So we've got 100% from this and a few of the others, but we've lost 4 leaves so far. The most leaves, only 2, but still the most leaves, 2 out of 7 from the coconut water. But we'll wait and see how the experiment progresses and where we lose leaves or start to see roots, and just in what quantity or how much we start to see those roots or growth from which different alternatives. So if you haven't watched the first part of the experiment, I'll link that at the end if you want to watch that next, and that goes through a little bit more detail, step by step, of how I've used each of the rooting aid alternatives and the method. And if you would like to see the updates on this, then subscribe and I'll do a future video as and when I start to see changes in the leaves, and hopefully we'll start to see actual roots and new growth coming up shortly. I almost forgot that I did also take a stem off each of the ZZ plants to try with each of the rooting aid alternatives, the shop bought and the control, as well as just putting in some of the leftover stems from where I'd taken the leaves off. And generally this does look okay. This one is okay, it is just a little bit leggy, but it's still green, it's still got a firm stem. It's just a little bit wonky. Whereas I did notice that the leftover stems that I put in actually have gone a bit discoloured, so these ones I can actually take out and just get rid of, but they were more just bonus ones or trying my luck with the ones without the leaves. But all of the ones that still had the leaves that were dedicated stem cuttings from the plants are all still green, healthy, standing upright, so fingers crossed we also see some success with these propagations as well. So now onto the giveaway winner, and I wanted to do a giveaway to mark almost a year of the channel and say thank you to those that subscribe and watch the videos. So I hope you find the videos useful, and if you've got any ideas for other content that you'd like to see, then please do put them in the comments below and I'll respond to everyone and add them to my content list. So now onto the prizes, and ideally I would have wanted to give away live plants to whoever the winner was, but there are some restrictions with sending live plants across countries, and I wanted to make sure that the giveaway was worldwide, so whoever was watching, wherever you're from, you could enter. So the prizes that I've got are plant and wellbeing related still. So the main two were these 2 books. I've actually got these in my collection already, and these were gifted to me, so they were duplicates, and I agreed with the gift giver that we could gift them on as part of this giveaway. So this is Plant Therapy by Dr. Katie Cooper, and also The Healing Power of Plants by Fran Bailey. And both of these books look at how plants support our well-being, the science behind it, and then also some information on specific plants and exactly what they do. So really interesting books for reading a little bit more about plants and well-being. Then the other things that we've got are a little bit crafty. So the benefit of crafts for well-being, being mindful, being creative, and being absorbed in what you're doing. So this one is a paint your own canvas wall hanging, and it's plant themed, as you can see, tropical design and lovely bright colours, and also a macrame plant hanging kit, so you can make your own. So this is creative and practical if you do it right, and it actually hangs a plant up, but a really good way to get a taster for macrame if you've not done it before. This is the other prize. There's also some stationery, and who doesn't love stationery, especially plant themed stationery. So some plant tropical notebooks, good sized notebooks actually, to keep maybe any plant care notes in there or whatever you wish to write about. And then lastly, some plant styling, some Henry Rousseau prints. So lots of various different plant related and craft related prizes there, and the winner I will put at the random generator or name generator that chose the winner of the giveaway. So congratulations to Debbie Verrett, you are the winner of all of the items I've just mentioned, and I'll be looking to send them to you shortly. What I'll do is respond to your entry comment on the original giveaway video with my email address, so you can get in touch with the right address to send these to. Alternatively, if you are watching this, then please do comment below and I'll respond to it with my email address again, so you can get in touch with the right address to send these to. Now I've decided to do a runner-up prize, so there will be a second winner and their name will come up in just a moment. So I'll go out and get some similar prizes minus the books. So again, congratulations to Jessie W, thank you for watching, and as I said, I'll go and get some similar prizes, a similar selection of things minus the books, and I'll get those out to you as well. So I'll do exactly the same, comment on your original entry comment, or if you comment below if you have watched this video, and then we can arrange the address details to send you the prizes to. So there will be more giveaways coming up, so keep an eye out for those and enter if you're watching. I'm currently working on a few things in the background which might feed into those, so keep an eye out for those. I hope you found the experiment interesting. Remember to subscribe if you'd like to see updates on this so you're notified when the next videos come out, and we'll see which rooting aids actually work and see how many successful propagations we get from these ZZ plants. I'll link the last one or the previous one of the start of the experiment at the end for you if you'd like to watch that next. If you've got any comments, please put them below and I'll respond to everyone, and as always, thank you for watching. Grow your well-being.